Oh, you have those things. You
And then we're just making money.
rent these heads out.
China is a great example of indefinite pessimism.
Cost center, and he's made it into a profit center.
It's fucking mind blowing.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 7. Okay, we are recording on New Year's. Happy New Year, everyone. 2023 is here. And yeah, we have a good one for you today. So, what's up? We were supposed to start a newsletter. Okay. And this is where, this is how this topic came to being. Okay. So basically, we decided that 3Com should have a newsletter because we talk about like so much stuff. Okay. And also, having another format of our content out there will be like great. And it'll provide you folks some great value as well on the side. So I started researching. I was like, okay, you know what? Let's go out there. Let's look at the more successful newsletters and see what the hell is this newsletter all about. Newsletter biz. Okay. And yeah, I came across quite a few newsletters. One being Morning Brew. The second was Milk Road by Sean Puri. Okay, which he recently sold. And the third was The Hustle by Sam Parr, which also is sold again to another third party. All three newsletters were sold for a multi-million dollar deals happened. And I was like, oh, I was so intrigued. I was like, oh, how did they do this? And how do I replicate it? Okay, so that's how this episode came to being. So I was like, you know what? Since I did so much research into how to newsletter, I might as well talk about it. And one of the newsletters I had to choose, I chose was the Milk Road. Sorry, fuck, not the Milk Road. One of the newsletters I chose for today is the Morning Brew. Okay, so the Morning Brew was started by Alex Liberman, and Austin Reef. Okay, and it's a daily newsletter that comes and gives you your news for the day. Okay, and it tells you what the financial markets are doing and like few other news bits of the day. It's essentially around like what's happening around the world, and it's written in a very like uh, fun tone. Okay, something that we can understand easy, something that we can like it's easy to read and we can absorb nicely, and it's one of the most successful newsletters out there. Okay, have you read the Morning Brew ever? What's up?
Oh no, I've only read Milk Road.
Ah, okay, nice, awesome. Okay, very similar frameworks was used in the Milk Road as well. Okay, but
I
obviously the Milk Road was a bit different because Shanpuri was already a massive figure. He had a massive following, so the injection into the number of people on who were reading the Milk Road were quite a lot. So yeah,
Yeah,
you were
to
saying.
begin with, I think he had like a good head start. Uh,
Yeah,
does Morning Brew also have all these memes? I saw like, this thing is too funny, right? Milk Road is you have a good time reading it,
yeah.
right? So is it like a similar themed newsletter?
No, I feel the Milk Road has a very Shanpuri tone to it. Okay, has that little extra of Shan into it that you can like literally hear almost. Okay, but no, the Milk Road is still fun. Okay, it does have a little bit of memes like here and there. Okay, and now it's a massive business and they do a bunch of other topics. They have 4 other podcasts that's running with the Morning Brew, and it's nice, man. It's nice. Morning Brew is really good. So I want to start talking about the origin of how like the Morning Brew started. Initially, it started off as a finance newsletter, but I just love how this business was started not as a business. Okay, so Alex Liberman, okay, he was a finance student, and like he was gonna go on Wall Street. Okay, like that was his destiny. Like he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be a Wall Street guy. I'm gonna be a finance bro. Okay, his dad is a finance guy. His mom is a Wall Street person. His granddad was from finance, so he's like, I'm also getting into finance. So he was in college. He was in his final year. Okay, he already got a job in his third year final result, he did an internship and they gave him a full time offer there itself. So in his final year, he didn't really have to look for a job and all that. So he had a lot of free time. Okay. And obviously, getting securing a job in your third year itself is a kind of a big deal when you're in college, right? And so, like, all his friends and classmates were like, "Bro, how do you do this? Okay, can you help us out?" So he just started helping his friends around. And one of the things he started helping them with was interview prep. Okay. So he would sit them down, and the reason he did that is because throughout while he was growing up, his dad used to do this with him. Okay. So he started doing the exact same thing. He started replicating it, and he was nailing it. Okay. So he would ask these his friends and like classmates these like questions. Okay. And one of the question was, how do you keep up with the finance news? Okay. Like, what do you do? Okay. Do you watch the news? Do you read the thing? And almost everyone said that they read the Wall Street Journal and like all these other finance newspapers and everything like that. And they were like, yeah. And he asked them, why do you just read these? He's like, because our parents told us this, our parents read this, and everyone on finance and Wall Street reads this. Then he started noticing. Then he's like, dude, that like newspapers are like so dull. Like, what the fuck? Like, he even asked some people this question, like, do you understand everything? He's like, no, not really. I just read it and I'm like, yeah, these are the numbers, these are the this thing, and I just keep saying like I understand it, but I don't understand much. So he like it was very dry, it was very dense, and then he's like, you know what? Okay, he noticed a problem out there, and the fact that not everyone is understanding this. So he's like, you know what? I'll read these newspapers and then I'll write like my version of it. Okay, and I'll just give it off to people so that they understand it better. Okay, and he literally did it from the bottom of his heart. He's like, okay, so one, this will help me keep up with the finance news every day. It'll keep me a little not lethargic because, like, in his final year of college, he was just pretty much just playing like FIFA, Call of Duty. So he's like, okay, 1 hour a day. That's all. That's all I need to do to be a little productive. Then I have the rest of the day. So for that 1 hour, he would just do this. Okay. And then, yeah, it started picking up. So people were just like, oh, shit. There were first years that would, like, join college and be like, hey, what is that? What is that you're reading? Damn, that's cool. So then he started this thing. I think it was October 2014, and it was called the Market Corner. Okay. So business related, finance related, he started that. Okay, and it was just like a fun thing. Okay, it wasn't like a university paper or anything. Okay, it was still like going chill. He
This so far
graduated.
it was just offline, all of this, like
Yeah, yeah,
as
yeah.
in
It was offline
physical
in a piece of
copies.
paper. Yeah,
Mm.
piece of papers that was just like handed out. People photocopied and everything like that.
So yeah, he
Okay.
had some initial investment into this as well.
No, I mean, university, you can just like
Oh yeah.
Xerox copy. No, like he would just make like an original, and then he'd be like, okay, you guys just photocopy a bunch and just give it around.
Mm.
Okay, because once someone reads it, then you can just like share it as well.
Mm.
Okay, so yeah, it was called the Market Corner and everything, and yeah, so he started like working. Okay, so but he was still like he really wanted to do this in the side as well. He's like, you know what? Okay, a lot of people need the help. Okay, and it picked up like a lot. It got very famous in college. Okay, because he was in a proper like in a decent business school. So like everyone wanted to like read it, and okay, so he's like, okay, you know what? I'll continue it. So this was his schedule. Okay, it was crazy. Okay, he got a job in Morgan Stanley as a trader. Okay, so he'd get up at 5 a.m., work out. Okay, get to his desk by 6:30 a.m. Okay, start trading until 7 p.m. Then at 7 he would go home and he would start writing the morning, like whatever is needed. Like he'd do all the morning brew stuff, and this is where they switch from the paper model to an email newsletter. Okay, and it's 2014. So I mean 2014. I think they switched to emails like very fast, very soon. Okay, initially like maybe he printed it out, and then I guess later everything was just online. Okay. And yeah, and this is where, like, he started the name changed from Market Corner to the Morning Brew. And he was obsessed with two things, and this is essential for all newsletters, I think, out there. He was, how do I make this as good as humanly possible? Okay, so whatever news is there, how do I make it like as easy to read, as funny, as absorbable out there as possible? He was just obsessed with this. And not just him, like his co-founder as well, Austin. And how do I grow this as fast as possible? Okay. And there are a bunch of growth hacks over here that I didn't think of at all. And although I don't like saying the word growth hacks, they're just amazing. Okay. And how he uh, grew the morning brew essentially. So they obviously didn't have any money. Okay. It was just the two of them. They would write and all that. Okay. So they were like, okay, fine. We need a writer. We need a bunch of writers. And so the morning brew started becoming big. It started becoming they got a couple thousand people, like on the email newsletter. They were like, okay, so we are targeting college students who want to understand the finance and business news. Let's hit colleges. So they put out, like, in their existing network, that, hey, if you are a writer, if you are interested in being heard and sharing your voice of like business and finance news, why don't you apply? Okay, and you can have like do 2 or 3 posts a week. Okay, so then they had this like 8 9 folks from different colleges, so they had like 2 stories per week. Okay, and it was unpaid. Okay, and the job description was, if they want to write about business, okay, and want to be in front of thousands of people, just come. Okay, so people just did it because, like, it was a great way to, like, show on your resume that you have taken initiative. And also, I think they people take university quite seriously as well over there, because only a select few get to go to university, and a select few get that initial money. There are a bunch of hustlers in university abroad. Okay, which is why somehow the quality of the people that come out of university also is quite great over there. Okay, so they take these things very seriously. Okay, then they got an editor as well. Okay, and they were like, okay, you know what, something's missing, in our content. Okay, it's good, but there's certain like newsletters that do really really good, like, the open rates are through the roof, and the replies they get, they're like, oh my god, this was the best. And they realized the funny aspect was a killer thing. So they were like, oh shit, we need a funny guy. We need a funny guy in the company. Okay, and they literally put an ad out for, hey, if you are funny, just apply. Okay, we are looking for someone fun. Okay, if you think you can come up with jokes and shit, come and apply. Okay, and they literally did that, and they got a person. Okay, and they called him the voice editor.
Hmm.
Okay, so this dude was already like, apparently, he was taking a business course only, so he was already well versed with the business world. Okay, and he was taking like this improv class and all that stuff. So he was like, and he was an excellent student in that improv. He minored in like some acting course or something like that at the side. Okay, that was like his true passion. So like it just worked really well, and like he understood the content and everything like that.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, so they had the team assembled. Okay, he was still working, like, his not even 9 to 5. Holy shit, it's six. It's almost 12-hour shifts.
Hmm.
Okay, and then he would come and, like, do all the um fuck. I keep calling this the Milk Road, the morning brew stuff. Sorry guys, I'm just obsessed with Milk Road. I love that newsletter. It's amazing. Okay, yeah. So in terms of growing it, okay, so they were like, okay, now how do we grow this?
Which year
They-
was this? When is all of this happening?
this would be, so in 2014 he started, October. So I would say this is a year into it. So 2015,
Hmm.
all this is happening. We're in that around 2015 time,
Okay.
or yeah, 20. I would say 2015 August September or something like that. Okay,
Hmm.
yeah. So there were about 2,500 people tuned into the email newsletter. I don't think it was making too much money around then. Okay, and so he's like, okay, fine, let's grow this. Okay, they got a couple colleges. They got these 8 9 writers as well. Okay, then they started targeting teachers. Okay, because they're like, okay, if we can get the teachers, or like, do you remember when we were in RV and like these seniors would just drop into class and they're like, buy this hoodie.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was me. I was selling the hoodies as well. Okay, but yeah, the senior took all the profit. But anyways, moving on. Yeah. Yeah, so they basically started doing this, and then the teachers also, they got like one or two teachers as well to come and announce like, hey, if you want to know, if you want to read finance, subscribe to the Morning Brew. It's really good. It's by an alumni over here. It's by a college nearby or something like that. So all the new like first years, they were just hooked. They were like, okay, yeah, this is college is good. Like, I'm in the finance zone, baby. And then they're reading this. So it's really cool. But then they were like, okay, we need to do more. Okay, sure, the teacher ambassadors are good, but then student ambassadors. So do you remember in college, like Red Bull, like our mutual friend that we had who was a Red Bull student brand manager as well?
Yeah.
Okay, giving out free Red Bulls, like that was cool. But like newsletters, like what the hell? Okay, so yeah, but then they were like, yeah, you know what? There are people that would be interested in this, so they started a student brand manager campaign. Okay, so they reached out to these colleges, and they had like a very rigorous student ambassador program where they wanted the best of the best. They were like, we will be tougher than Harvard to get in. Okay, we only want the cream of the cream, the best of the best,
Creme de la creme.
creme de la creme.
Mm.
Yeah, fine. And it failed.
Oh,
It failed drastically. Okay, and there's one reason why, and these are all lessons that I've learned by researching the Morning Brew, and I'm sharing. Okay, because I've just thought of like so many ideas that we can also do. Is gonna be cool. Okay, like I want to do a student brand manager for like 3 compods newsletter eventually. Okay, so yeah, the reason it failed is because these top students were already involved in every single activity that was going on in college. They were
mm.
academically inclined. They were also doing a teacher's assistant, that fancy this thing. That they were part of sports. They were a captain of the sports team. So they were just terrible with time management, and they really couldn't like have time to do this. So they're like, okay, forget quality, let's go for quantity approach. Okay, so they're like, whoever you are, if you want to be a student brand ambassador, just apply. Okay, so they got like bunch of people to apply. Okay, just a bunch. And they set like this automated newsletter, like campaigns. Okay, automatic emails that was sent to them. Hey, welcome, you are one of the select people for this program. It's perfect. And then all the tasks will be automated by email. Okay, and their only goal was to get to 25 to 30 signups in a certain time frame. Maybe
Per
it was a month,
college.
maybe it was a week, per person, per
Hmm.
person. Okay, whoever applied, because a lot of people got in, and there are a lot of fluff people as well. They're like, I don't want to do this. Okay, they'll
Hmm.
just sign up and all for the good of it, and then for the fuck of it, and then they just won't do shit.
Hmm.
All right. Okay. And then once they finally got this quota written, then they were put on a like a WhatsApp group, and then they got in a call with the founders and all that. And this approach really helped them like find the quality people who had the time and had the hustle to you know put in the work, basically,
Right.
essentially. So yeah, they got almost 250 ambassadors across 200 schools.
Wow.
That's
It's a good
crazy.
approach, actually, dude.
It's an amazing approach, right?
Yeah.
Think about it, like we just have to call up our RV's e-cell and like all the
Yeah.
e-cells over there and be like, yeah, give us one Pulton over there. And like,
Yeah.
no, no, just send the emails out, and then whoever wants to sign up. And then based
Yeah.
on their performance, we get, okay. And then you can incentivize that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so he was still at that morning brew I mean Morgan Stanley job and everything like that. Then he's like, okay, once they got like 100K users, then they're like, okay, shit, it's serious. And his co-founder Austin was actually in college, 1 year junior to him or something. And then once he graduated, then he had that choice of like, oh shit, do I go for my job or do I join the morning brew? Okay. And then they had like a talk, and then they're like, you know what, and like he actually goes in quite a lot of detail, like if you want to research more about how this decision making process was done, just check out Alex Lieberman's talk with Ali Abdul on the podcast. Like it's amazing. Okay, he goes into a lot of like personal stuff as well, but yeah, so they finally decided to like do it together, and they're like, yeah, you know what, let's go for this. And then yeah, and then they slowly like built it out. Okay, um so in November 2019, so this is 5 years, October 2014, it started as a just like a thing to help his like college mates. November 2019, literally 5 years, they sold it. Can you guess, can you tell me how much we would have sold this for?
Is it in tens of millions or hundreds of millions?
Tens of millions.
I would probably think that each user is at least worth $15, $10, $15. That would make it up to uh, 20 million, 20 to 30 million.
It was sold for $75 million.
Uh,
Great cat, like that's
wow.
insane. So like I
That's
mean,
forty
obviously they like,
dollars. That's $40 per user.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, they obviously had like millions of users. I think after some time, right? They build it up to at least a million users, and now I think the Morning Brew's number of users is upwards of 4 million. Okay.
So you mean to say when they sold the company, they already had 1 million
Yeah,
subscribers? Oh,
yeah, yeah. Right now they have around like 6 million.
hmm.
6 million people that have subscribed to the Morning Brew, and so their business model and most newsletters business model, why they are valued so high is because one is obviously their open rate. Email open rate is definitely one of them. The second is the ad space over there. Okay, once you have someone reliable speaking there, and then like people actually listen and follow this newsletter, okay, you have their attention, you have bought their attention for the day, and they literally charge millions of dollars. Okay, Morning Brew. Okay, I worked with a company at once where they have at least spent, I think, upwards of $300,000 to sponsor posts and to sponsor the newsletter. Okay, and this is a startup. We're talking about a startup that spent this much. Okay, so they have like big corporates. So now, if you go and sign up for the newsletter, Morning Brew, it'll ask you a couple of things. Okay, your name, age, all those kind of things. But then it'll ask your profession as well. Okay, because based on that, okay, you'd be getting certain amount of like certain kind of news, and then they have like all these other newsletters that you can subscribe to, and then based on that, you'll see the ads what like accordingly, and they can sell that like whatever they show their demographic to the folks out there.
Makes sense. Dude, I
Yeah.
think that's probably one of the reasons why newsletters are so expensive. Ads and newsletters are so because you get that niche crowd. Like if you have a finance newsletter, you get the finance people, right? So it's so difficult to find that volume of concentrated finance junkies in one place,
Yeah.
uh, in through any other means, right? Uh, yeah, that's a good business model.
Yeah, and even with the Milk Road, right? Milk Road is a Web
Crypto,
three
yeah,
crypto centric this
it's
thing, and they sold for upwards of like 20 mil as well.
yeah.
I'm not sure about the exact amount, but I think it's easy
It's a
20 mil.
lot. It's
Yeah,
probably it's and it started when like 2 years ago. I think it
a
started.
year ago, one
Yeah,
year ago, man, 1 year.
crazy.
Okay, and it became the fastest growing newsletter out there. They have only around 200,000, 300,000 people. Okay, and in my own company time, I reached out to them to see like how much it would cost, just to sponsor them. It costs around $300,000. Huh.
Yeah,
And if you want to do like a one-off post as well, that's like around like $10,000 to $20,000. So it's like, oof, that is heavy. So the few things that we have learned out of this, Morning Brew story, and even a little bit of Milk Road. Okay, the hustle as well was like an entrepreneur centric, business centric newsletter, which was competing with Morning Brew. Okay,
Hustle was Sam Pass, right?
Sam Bars, yes. Okay, and it was so funny because they used to have like similar topics, and every day apparently Austin from Morning Brew used to print out theirs and print out both the newsletters, paste it on the wall, and go line by line and be like, okay, this line is good, this line is bad, this line is good, this line is bad, and if the hustle did better than them in terms of open rates and all that stuff, he would lose it. The entire like Morning Brew team would lose it because that's how like competitive they were. They like almost hated each other. It seems.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's really cool. Like that they did all this stuff.
And
Obviously, like
it's
after some time they had like different approaches, but yeah,
and it's so interesting to see that on something um, as I don't want to say trivial,
yeah,
but in such a domain there is such intense competition and there is so much drama that's going on. It's actually really nice to know.
yeah. But did you know India also has its own like Morning Brew? It's called filter coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like literally like Morning Brew's version, like India's version of Morning Brew, and they have like they're pretty small. Okay, the newsletter culture hasn't completely hit India. Okay, Filter Coffee has around I would say 15,000 readers, which is
So
comparatively less. But I don't know what they're doing in terms of like advertising and those kind of
the
things. But
thing
yeah,
is, in India, we don't have this email reading culture, so it's not very actively followed, right? Like, I mean, the only reason why we'd open our emails is for work. We wouldn't really want to open our email inboxes ever on a
yeah,
normal day, and that
yeah.
has to pick up, and that will pick up. Like because when people like it's going to be people like us who are going to be taking over all of this eventually, right? So, as in, like, we are the next generation, right?
Yeah, yeah. One will be more tech savvy because one we have grown up in the email world. Um, I do follow a lot of email newsletters, but I hate them in my email. I use this other app. Okay, basically it makes this like fake email for me, like of the app, and then all the newsletters that I sign up to just comes to this app as well. So yeah, it's nice. It's like a newsletter aggregator type thing. Um, it's called Stoop Inbox. I'll give it to you guys. Fine, take it. Okay, okay. It's super nice. It's super cool. But yeah, uh, I just I'm interested to see how the newsletter market increases in India because I was very surprised to see the numbers just like for Filter Coffee being around like 15,000 or something like that. Um, Yeah, yeah. Okay. Now let me like blow your mind up. Okay, there is a there is a blog, not a newsletter, but a blog called Houdinki. Okay. They talk about watches. Okay. Can Can you tell me how much do you think it makes a revenue in a year? It's a blog through ads or through whatever their sources is. Okay, I don't know any of that. I just want you to guess a number. Just go for it. 100 mil a year. Okay, it's a luxury watch blog, and that's crazy. That's crazy. So I mean, just think about it. Like you can just build an audience about any niche. It can be about anything. Okay, if you want to talk about bottle caps. Okay, there must be some crazy ass Americans out there. Sorry, the craziest people out there, U.S. citizens, I don't know, out there that will be like into bottle caps. Who knows? Okay, there is a what? There are people that collect stamps. I never got that, and there's one thing that I have noticed. Okay, so with three commas, we wanted to make it like, and I just want to discuss this on air as well. Might as well, right? Okay. So with three commas, I initially start off with like I was like, okay, you know what, let's make it a weekly newsletter and everything. But all the three newsletters that we spoke about today, the Morning Brew, Milk Road, the Hustle, even Filter Coffee, those are daily newsletters. And yeah, I feel that could be a good approach. And like, if this guy was working what, at least 15 to 16 hours, and he was the same age as me when he started maybe the Morning Brew. Uh, maybe a little younger, but that's fine. It's totally fine with me. Okay, I can definitely do that, or we can definitely do that. So yeah, cool. You all should definitely look forward to the Three Com Pods newsletter. Should we call it the Three Com newsletter, or should we call it something else?
We'll have to think of a name.
Yeah, we'll think of a name, man. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited, especially after doing all this research. I did, like, get to read like a lot of newsletters and how they talk, the tone, the whole thing around it, and it's really nice. I think GrowthX, Abhishek Patil has a weekly newsletter or something like that. It's
Mm,
definitely weekly. Okay, and see, the fact that I don't know it is definitely not a daily newsletter. So
right.
don't know whether it's weekly or not, or monthly once or something. So yeah. So I think a great way to keep people's attention is to like show up every single day. Okay, with the newsletter. Okay. So yeah, definitely interested in this space right now, and it's a massive space. Yeah, and it's only growing in India. Okay. So there's a Milk Road copy in India called Dudwala.
My God.
Yeah, he's like the Dudwala comes every day to deliver you with
Crypto news?
crypto news, bro. Okay, and in terms of brainstorming this, I like to bring something up. So the morning brew started off with college students, right? Okay, finance news for college students. Okay, and I don't know whether Filter Coffee or the Dudwala has taken this approach. Okay, and maybe this creates a market out there for us. Okay, if maybe our podcast can be more inclined towards, I mean, obviously we have certain number of years of experience. Okay, but obviously I don't know whether a person who has 10 years of job X, or like, who has sold 2 3 companies, is listening to us right now. Okay, because obviously he'll know more, he's already more inclined to, like, he already has his own sources of information, right? And and our experience, as valid as they are, is more suited for someone who's in college and college going. And this would be a great opportunity for us to position ourselves to that demographic of folks. Okay, that will include in our podcast format and our newsletters as well.
You're
And
right.
maybe, let's see, who knows, maybe we can bring a newsletter culture around.
Yeah. In Ashwa Racing, we had newsletters. We used to have monthly newsletters.
Ah, nice. Who
Yeah.
ran the newsletters?
Sponsors and, all the faculty, whatever. We used to have like about 80, 90 email addresses. Obviously not a lot, but yeah. But we had like top execs, like the CEOs of companies and all of that. These are like
Who
top
have invested the money, who have put in the money. Yeah, yeah, okay. So B2B, I think B2B can be a bit more not daily, weekly, spaced out, I would say. Okay. LinkedIn has launched a newsletter column where you can have a newsletter. I literally, right now, all my LinkedIn connection requests is just like, hey, follow my newsletter. Hey, follow my newsletter. Or follow our newsletter.
Yeah, it's annoying actually. Like it's all those sponsored things that just keep coming up.
Yeah, man. Like one of the days, yeah, one of the days I just looked at my notification, said Richard Branson. I was like, what? Richard Branson on my LinkedIn? I click. Richard Branson invites you to follow his newsletter. I was like, really? Richard Branson personally invited me. No, but yeah. So even when you go on Twitter as well, so in your bio, right below it, you can have a subscribe to my newsletter, and whichever email you're using for Twitter, they can like automatically just subscribe right there as well. Okay, and
That's
definitely,
nice.
like, if the content is good, and if there are folks that are reading it, I don't feel that Chat GPT has a big play here, because if everything's auto generated, then you lose your own tone. Okay, and I will put this out there. I will not use Chat GPT for writing our newsletters yet.
You will use Jupiter AI.
Jasper done
Jasper.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all paid. Okay, so even Chat GPT is going to be monetized this year. Okay, so they have already predicted that ChatGPT's revenue for 2024 is going to be $1 billion. The revenue. So they said by this year end it'll be around 200 to $300 million. By the end of 2024, it's going to be $1 billion.
Wow.
Just ChatGPT, not even OpenAI. Okay, they kept DALI aside. So DALI 2, I recently logged on to see. I don't have credits anymore. I have to start buying credits. So they have monetized it successfully.
Yeah.
But I don't know about ChatGPT's approach to go for revenue or monetizing it so fast, because they have a very unique opportunity to take down one of the biggest monopolies of the world. Okay, just a few weeks ago, we were talking about Peter Thiel's book, and we were just talking about what an incredible business Google is, and how nobody is able to challenge it. And like, I just feel like whatever we talk about, we spoke good about like SBF and like crypto for like a bit, and then next week crypto went down. Okay, we spoke well about Google. ChatGPT came out. Okay. So today I'm talking about newsletters. If newsletters go extinct within the 1 month, we are cursed. We are cursed.
Yeah, we will bleep those words out the next time onwards. Every time we talk about this something, we'll just peep it out.
Yeah, man. The soothsayers are here. Okay. We talk good things about it, and then they're like, ah, nah. Because these guys spoke about nah, nah, nah. People will pay us to not talk about them.
We spoke about Google being the monopoly. They're like, no, not
No,
anymore.
not anymore. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Dude, I think that the approach that ChatGPT is taking is to like more B2B, right, as opposed to B2C. So they are predicting incomes from like all of these edu. Imagine how much it would help companies like Byju's and all of that, dude. Like they don't need like human support or a teacher or whatever, right? They just have to type in questions and boom, you get it. I was just showing my younger brother the other day, my cousin. Um, I was showing him a chat GPT. He's a lawyer and
Uh,
he's like typing corporate law and then this specific, very specific, amendment that happened. And it
right.
is just talking. Chat GPT gave a beautiful response, 3 paragraph response. Like, what
Right.
is this about? Why this amendment was brought in? And like some implications of that amendment. And he's like, dude, this is a 10-mark answer in like a common law student's, exam.
Oh
And I'm
shit!
just like,
I forgot to ask my cousin how it went. So like a couple of weeks ago when we spoke about ChatGPT, I was like, dude, you got to use ChatGPT. Is the shit. Just use it for one of your assignments. So he was giving like one of his final papers. So I was like, okay, don't fuck around with that, but try it with these other useless subjects. I will follow up and I will let you know. Okay, it's super exciting.
dude, it's mind blowing. So I think that those are some of the extreme and super useful use cases of ChatGPT, dude, in terms of education and in terms of, um, like a Wikipedia. Basically, you don't need Wikipedia anymore. If you ask me, you just need to like they have to make this into an app and like an app that is so comfortable to use. It should be like Hey Siri, right? And the moment this happens, it's gonna take over all these B2B things that we would no longer need. And then that
Even
is,
it'll take over Google. It
yeah,
will
yeah.
literally take over Google.
The moment that
And
happens, it's as easy as Hey Siri. I'm sure it'll take over. That is the doomsday.
yeah. Now I don't know. I don't want to get too political or just to make too many assumptions here, but I don't know what Google is doing. Google's been a little bit of radio silent with this, and let's see. If Google doesn't come up with anything within the next 100 days, oh, my boy Sundar will be in a bit of a hot seat.
But I'm sure
Okay,
Google
because
is like, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, I mean, Sundar is definitely like a great CEO, a great operator. But
Hmm.
is he a bit like an entrepreneur? Is
Hmm.
he like that'll be put to the test now? Okay,
Hmm.
because when Google was given to him, Google was made, it was built, it did everything. And it's like, here, take it and operate it. That's why he's an operator.
Hmm.
Okay,
No, but
so
that's
yeah,
actually
let's
harder. Like to build a company, to build $1 billion companies is relatively easier than to sustain $1 billion company. To
sustain.
grow from 1 billion to 2 billion, that's actually difficult. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I mean, no, look, it's two different skill sets. It's
Right.
two different skill sets, and it'll be put to the test. If I'm not wrong, I think OpenAI has some connection with Microsoft, and maybe Microsoft Bing could be making a comeback.
Hmm. But I think companies like Google would be actually actively, if they would probably be they would have realized by now if they are in the game or not, and if they
Hmm.
have decided that, hey, we can't play this game anymore, they'll be actively working on pivoting, right? Like they'll be working on other technologies. Could be
Yeah,
quantum
definitely.
computing, it could be
Hmm.
some kind of crypto investments,
Yeah,
I don't know, like
yeah.
they'll just be putting their hands into other things, because there is no stopping ChatGPT, man, at this
OpenAI, yeah,
amaze
definitely.
space. You
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, and Google still hasn't done their big ass layoffs yet. Okay, with the that's coming. Okay, Google's response to the upcoming recession. Okay,
Yeah.
with what's happening with Tesla running on 25% of its employees and still sustaining, still doing well. And definitely, like, Twitter is up there in terms of, like, oh, fancy tech jobs, but it's no Google. So there's a statistic that came out that the average Google employee gets paid $290,000. Okay, in comparison to other of the big Amazons and the Microsofts and Twitter and a few others, the second highest I think is Amazon, with $190,000. So it's almost $100,000 difference.
This is on an
Okay,
average.
yeah, Google
But
definitely won the talent war out there.
no, but Amazon also has these other types of workers, right? Like they have a lot of blue collared workers as well.
Blue collar workers as well.
And
Yeah.
the volume of the workers are also pretty high in Amazon compared to Google, right?
Yeah, but still, like, even if, like, they brought it down to the same, like, job levels, and it's Google that always, like, pushed it, and
Yeah.
they won the talent wars. Okay, Amazon's already done their firings. With the 10th, I think it was 1,000 or what, 10,000. I think 10,000
Yeah,
layoffs.
they fired a lot. No, I think Meta
Yeah.
fired like 10K. These guys,
Right.
they fired like around 5 or 4K.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe it's all response to the recession. One of the things that Amazon's also done is they have stopped the Alexa productions and everything. And, like, first when I heard it, I was like, "Damn, that's premature." Like, I was thinking of getting an Alexa because I was like, "Yeah, I need it. I need home automation." Okay, but maybe it's also it was running on a $10 billion loss per year. So yeah, okay, and maybe they just had to cut costs right now so that once this recession, how many ever what I'm assuming it goes on for at least um, 6 quarters or something,
Yeah, dude, no one has
and
any idea what's. I was just reading this interesting thing. The one of the indicators of recession is the sale of underwears. And if the underwear sales dip, the recession is likely going to happen.
I love it. I love this.
because because people are just sitting at home. They don't want to like buy new undergarments and underwear, and they just the sales drop because
Crazy.
they're unemployed as well.
Where do I access this data?
We'll have to find. I don't know. I'm sure it's available somewhere. Maybe like
Yeah, we
Joki.
can probably buy it. Who knows?
Yeah,
Companies getting desperate out there.
yeah,
We will sell you data. We'll
yeah.
sell you your data back to you.